welcome back to another Supernaturally Healthy vlog. I am Kezia Hall. I'm a holistic health coach, and I've got a really important question to ask you today. And that question is, are you free around food? Do you just have that freedom to just eat what you want to eat when you want to eat it? Do you have that freedom to make healthy choices and really enjoy them, but also the freedom to not make healthy choices and not beat yourself up around them? You know, do you have this noise going on in your head all the time around what you've eaten, what you're going to eat, what other people think, what you've eaten compared to what other people have eaten? How many calories have you had? Are you going to be able to eat healthy at that meal? Have you done this? When are you going to next be able to eat? Is that healthy? Have you eaten well enough? What is your weight? Is this food going to make you fat? Whatever it is, you know, if you have this ongoing noise, if you are always worrying, focusing, fixating on food, then you're not free around it. If you feel trapped by food, then I'm here to help, because I've been there, I've done that. I've lived through this constant noise that would just go on in my head all the time around what I was going to eat. Was what I was eating too much compared to that person over there? Do they think I'm fat? Do they think I've eaten more than them? Should I be eating less? What about my height? I was always comparing my weight, what was on my plate, my hunger compared to other people around me. And I had this always had this noise and this story going on around my relationship with food, and there was no freedom there. And you know what? Food is meant to be fun. Food is meant to be a platform for freedom and for health, not for anxiety or worry. So that's what I'm going to talk about a bit today, and it's a super exciting and important topic that I get really passionate and emotional about still, because it's been a real healing journey for me to just be free around food and have fun with it instead of be obsessed with it and ruled by it. And there's a real difference between those two things. So how do you know if you're free around food? How do you know if you've got some issues going on there with your relationship with food, and food is ruling you more than you're ruling it? And that is really the way it should be. We are powerful in our relationship with food. Food serves us. We do not serve food. And so how do you know? How do you know if this is going on? Well, you probably just really resonate with what I've just said. Do you have this noise going on in your head all the time? Chances are you're not free around food. Do you beat yourself up after meals that you deem as bad or treaty or whatever? Do you swing from having really good days with food to really bad days with food, and that affects your mood? You know, do you spend time worrying about what to eat, when to eat, what other people will think, how many calories, carbs, nutrients, fats you've eaten, blah, blah, blah? You know, if any of those resonate with you, then chances are there's a bit of space for you to have more freedom around the food that you eat. So how do we get free? How do we work on this? Well, first of all, for some of you, you might need to go really deep with this and get some support, whether it's one-to-one coaching, it might be CBT, it might be counseling, whatever it is. I really recommend that you really value yourself enough to invest in the support that you need. So make sure you think that through, and you can always chat to people, chat to counselors, chat to coaches like me to see what would be best fit for you. But I'm going to share some tips with you that I've used to get free around food and just enjoy it. So tip number one is you've got to be prepared to do the work. And I know this isn't very sexy or, you know, a quick win, but this is really deep stuff, and you've got to be willing to do the work around that and to go deep and to really connect with why you're behaving the way that you are and really be powerful in that place. So that's number one. You've got to have the right attitude. Number two is that you've got to look at what are the values, what are the beliefs that are driving this behavior. And I talk about this all the time in my Flourish community and program, because this is really key. Your behaviors don't just pop up out the middle of nowhere. You beating yourself doesn't just, boom, I've just decided to beat myself up after every scone that I eat. No, that doesn't just happen overnight. Those behaviors are driven by values and beliefs. So if you want to get rid of the behavior, the noise, the story, you've got to find out what these beliefs and values are that are driving this behavior. That's really important. I talk about that a lot more in depth and coach people through that. on the Flourish program and community and e-course there. But there's some really simple things that you can do, and to really help with that, tip number 3 is to keep a mood brackets food diary. Now, often people keep a food diary, but actually what's really helpful is you keep more of a mood diary. Sure, write down what you eat, but really write down, how did you feel? What was happening? What were your physical symptoms? How were you doing emotionally? What was your energy like? And map out what's going on in your body. And this will really help you just to connect with what's going on when you're eating, what's going on inside your head, what are the behaviors, what are the values, driving that behavior, what are the things, how are you feeling, what are the patterns going on. And this is, again, a tool that I use within my Flourish community that's really, really, really helpful. And I'll link to a free resource below that you can get a diary to print off to fill it out in, which is really, really helpful. But that can be really good. And tip number 4 is to reset. Have something symbolic that you just use to remind yourself, right, I'm resetting. So for example, I talk about this a lot with the Flourish community. And so say you go out on a Friday night, you don't mean to, but you end up having a takeaway and then some beer and then some wine and then a doner kebab, and then you wake up on Saturday morning and are like, whoa, how did that happen? I was planning on being super healthy. You need to hit the reset button before you hit that I'm going to beat myself up, I'm such a worthless being button. You've got to hit this first and have something already decided, intentional, that you do to reset yourself back into reminding yourself who you are, that you're valuable and precious and worth it. So I had a client that used to light some candles, some scented candles, because the scent would just remind them of what they were doing, why they were doing it, where they were going. For me, I normally will maybe make a green smoothie. It takes 2 minutes, I'll make one up, and it just reminds me, yep, I make healthy choices, I'm healthy, I'm doing something good for my body, I'm valuing my body. I also sometimes go for walks. I know some clients have affirmations that they read over themselves. Some people listen to music, some people pray, some people do whatever. Have essential oils, whatever it is. Find your reset button. What is it that reminds you of who you are? What is it that stops you going down this negative spiral of doom and gloom and sadness? You know, and be powerful and press it. Press it before you press that I'm such a worthless person, I'm going to beat myself up for ages and ages. So those are my tips for how to get free around food. And I'd really encourage you, this is probably one of the key relationships you're going to work on in your life that impacts lots of things. You know, we work on relationships with our friends and our family and our partners and our relationships with our money, but you know what, there's so much freedom to be found in getting free around food. I know it sounds really obvious, but it is. And if you do have that noise, if you do feel trapped around food, then it's a miserable place to be. It really is, and you know it is if this is you. And I would really encourage you to take action, do something, start to be proactive. And if you feel like you want to join my Flourish community where I can coach you personally through getting free with food, then make sure you click the link below or head to supernaturallyhealthy.co.uk/flourish, and it will tell you all the details of how you can join this amazing Flourish club and membership, which is just going to literally transform you, your family, your friends, and your community's lives. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, have a brilliant, brilliant day. Let me know your questions below, and I'll see you soon. Bye.